That's what I tell them. Look.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with a topic segment with Monica Weldon and Kristin Smedley. Funny story is I've interviewed both of them, and I was on social media and I saw Monica had posted that they were in Washington D.C. fighting for their cause. We'll get into that. And I was like, wait, hold up, like. I know both of them. I've interviewed them. So, yeah. And so, I hit one up, Monica, and she's like, well, yeah, that's my girl, And so now, I thought, they have been through some amazing things with their children, some amazing experiences. Some may look at it as, a really rough time, but what it has done is it has given them a cause to fight for. In a passionate way, and what they do is they fight for their causes. And so I wanted to make sure I got them together so that they can talk to you guys about how they got to that, some of the things that they've gone through, but also give some encouragement and advice, because there's a lot of people out there that are going through the same thing or similar things that you ladies are going through. And so I wanted to make sure that we take this time to help them, give them some advice so they hear your story and they know that they're not alone. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to do that.
Thanks for having us, Chip.
Thank you. Are you sure you want us both?
Warn the audience.
Right,
Sit down.
Right.
Sit down and turn it down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're scared now, aren't you?
No, I'm ready.
We've never been on a panel together, Monica and I. The rare disease. No, do not put us on a panel together.
Really?
Yeah, that could be dangerous.
That's what I'm saying. Did they know, or did they, I don't know. Okay, I'm getting into some dangerous stuff. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's for a good cause, though. I think it's for a good cause. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So, Monica, tell us where you're from, if you don't mind.
Well, I am from Houston, Texas, and I've lived here all my life. Born and raised, I guess, a Texan. So I guess I can exclude the rest of the country, because we could have our own. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I'm from Houston.
All right, and Kristin, where are you from?
Well, I'll speak to the audience outside of Texas. Thank you very much.
There you go.
I'm a Philly girl. I took off my Eagles hat today for the first time in a long time. But yes, Philly girl, born and raised, but did go out for a while around the country to the Midwest, Northeast, and now back in Philly, loving life.
There it is.
With my Super Bowl champions. I had to throw it in.
And
we're trying. We are trying.
What's funny is when she said that about Texas, I was going to tell Monica, when I interviewed Kristin with the 4 chicks chatting, she had to, throw some Philly jabs in there, she had to throw that at me, But I was going to mention that. Yeah,
we
but
got
it's
some
okay.
friendly competition.
Yeah.
One day, we're gonna be a Super Bowl team. God, I hope so.
Wait! Did you know I can play the violin when Monica talks about football?
We're gonna have to go to a game together. I'm just saying.
All love. It is all love.
Let's do it. All right, so Monica, as far as the things that you've gone through with your family situation and your cause, do you mind explaining that to us?
Well, I guess in a nutshell, I have 5 children, and I started over kind of later in life. My oldest 3 are adults, and I had twins, and one of my girl boy twins, and my son was having issues meeting his milestones, and of course he was misdiagnosed with several different things, went through about 4 years of testing, 19 specialists, until I pretty much demanded and begged for a genetic test. And when we got the genetic test results back, he ended up having a gene mutation called syngap1. And he was one of a couple of handfuls of children in the world diagnosed with this disorder. And so, and that's kind of when the journey began. And I started, I was kind of thrown into this new world of rare disease. And now it's become pretty much my life to try to find help for him and other kiddos and even adults that have been diagnosed with this help. So that's kind of where we're at. He was diagnosed about 6 years ago, and I started our organization about 2 years after he was diagnosed. And of course, from social media, and dear God, I don't even know what I would do without social media. And I know that's probably not a surprise to anyone watching that knows me on social media. But without social media, I don't know how we would have ever built the community that we that has formed this huge collaboration with doctors and scientists and the patient families to try to get to treatments. And so it's just been an incredible journey. It's not been easy. It's been very difficult. And but you find the good in it, and you just keep kind of dredging on, right? You just got to keep going, one step in front of the other. Because
your fight and your steps are worth it, and you know that it's all about that little guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Kristin, if you don't mind explaining to us, your situation and your story.
Yeah. So I, just like Monica and I call it the accidental advocate. I was loving my life as Monica has a teaching background also. She was a teacher and had to walk away from that. I was too.
Yep.
Loving my life as a teacher, waited my whole life to be a mom, became a mom. And within 5 months, I was hearing rare disease, rare eye disease, blindness. I mean, I didn't even know a blind person when my son Michael was diagnosed at 5 months old as blind. And he was my firstborn. And then 3 years later, my second son was diagnosed with the same blindness. And it's a rare, we didn't know the gene until 2009, and that was 2000 when Michael was diagnosed. So it was 9 years of the unknown. And I actually will say to a lot of people that I believe that was a very big blessing to not know the gene at that point, because there was no hope on the horizon for anything in terms of treatments. Now I think it's important to know your gene. But then I had to focus solely on raising blind kids well. And I did that for 9 years, gave them a great foundation. Not to say that I stopped that, but we splintered off a little bit when you've probably all seen it in the news, Luxturna, the first ever gene therapy to reverse blindness, was in the works back in 2009. And I found out about it and said, how can we be next, right? And interestingly enough, it was a very hard conversation to have with my boys, who were 9 and 6 at the time, and they're very bright. And it took me a year to figure out how to tell them I was now going to work on curing them, quote, fixing something that I never said was broken. I never said that they were broken or there was a problem. We just worked with it. We went with it,
right.
And it was a lot of work. It was exhausting. I didn't know, there was no social media then. There was like remember the old listservs?
Oh, yeah.
The email list? There was one for the umbrella disease. And honestly, when I was a very young mom with this beautiful little baby, and I'm looking at email after email about Braille and the white cane and social anxiety, and I thought, I shut down for a couple of years. And then by the grace of God, I had a moment of, I call it my, for the Catholic school kids that always did the Stations of the Cross, that Garden of Gethsemane story, like the back of your hand, right?
Yes.
Holy Thursday is like, oh. But there was my moment when I did a surrender moment. I was praying it away when I was so pregnant with my second son, praying this whole situation away, and my Michael came bouncing in the room as the happiest kid I had ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. For the 3 years he was on this earth, he was so happy. Blindness didn't bother him. So I had to make it not bother me, and then just focus on raising them well. Then, like I said, splintered off into running this research, starting a research organization through Facebook, found moms there that were willing to help. And in 7 years have raised over $1.2 million. And we've gone from nobody ever heard of this to top of the food chain. Our problem now is the stupid science. If science would cooperate, I got everything else in line, ready to go.
Under control, yeah.
Science is everywhere, banging their heads against the wall for this gene. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
And you know what I love about Kristin is she's one of my mentors, and I tell you, she's come way before me. And you're somebody, don't make me, I'm going to cry now. But you're somebody I follow because I tell you what, she doesn't stop.
Right.
And she, and she just made a comment that you go through, you kind of deal with that life that you're given, and you don't want to fix your child. I actually had someone ask me, so you're doing this to try to fix your child? And I was like, hold on, wait. And it's that conversation where you kind of hit, and we're like, hold on, my child really isn't broken.
Right.
He's given to me as a gift, but you want to make their lives, to improve their quality of life, not that they're broken. So I think that's a great point, because they're put here. I think they were put here for this reason.
Yeah.
And it's for me, it's just been a huge blessing. And people say all the time, how do you do it? How do you do it? How? Well, you do. I mean, you have no other choice.
Yeah,
well, that's what God gave me. Like,
right.
God made my son special. God made my boys special. And that's what we do. I'm blessed to be, I'm blessed to be the special mom to my boys.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that too is in this journey of trying to cure this rare disease, what we've actually started happening is it almost, not that it doesn't matter anymore, it does matter. There are people that really want this option to reverse their blindness, and it would make life so much more convenient for my boys and a lot of others. But in the meantime, I was looking to build this bridge from diagnosis to treatment, because they're all falling off. They get diagnosed and all these kids just fall off. The families are falling on the couch crying. The kids are falling out of the school systems and out of society, and they're unemployed. They just were falling off. So I thought, well, let's build a bridge. We'll give all the resources and educate the community on how to educate a blind child and include them in everything. But in the meantime, as we built that bridge, the structure of that has become, we're changing the perception of blindness to everybody that meets us. And they're looking at their own lives and their own challenges, their own problems, if you will, differently. It's become an amazing part of this entire journey that I never anticipated.
Right. It makes you see life in a totally different light. Because everybody has problems. Everybody has problems.
No one is immune to that.
Right. And I think people, of course, rank those problems with severe to mild, I guess. And with many people, I think having a child with special needs is, of course, this on the severe side of problems. But I think with raising awareness and understanding, especially with autism, because we fall into the autism community, and everybody knows autism, but the stigma of these children is still there. I mean, even as a school teacher, and I just left education about 2 years ago, where the stigma is still there, where you still have kids bullying these kids because they are different. They learn differently. They have a different personality, and maybe they don't fall within that normal bell curve that everyone thinks people should fall in. But it really, really enlightens you to understand the different. You should be picking out people's gifts and what they can offer, and not what you think is going to inhibit them. Because I tell you what, my son, even though he's nonverbal, being around him, and there are some bad times, that's okay. But when you're around him and he is having a good time, it's even though he has intellectual disability, sometimes I wish I didn't know some of the stuff that he didn't know, because that child is the happiest child that you could be around. And his belly laugh and just the simpleness of life. And I think people take advantage of that and don't see really that there are good and bad in everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
It's good and bad. And I think to me, I think where we need to get to as a people, as adults, is just still be in that child mindset,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and just none of that other stuff matters.
Right.
You know, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the time. We're all broken, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. You know, we all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We all need help, you know, and just enjoy the moment. Appreciate everyone's, like you said, appreciate the good things,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and move on.
Yeah.
And look for the good in those challenges. I mean, I just had to drive my Michael down I'm in Philly, right? He goes to school in Nashville now. He went off to college last week.
Awesome.
Went to Belmont.
I know.
And I had to go. I mean, I was gone almost a week because we had to get there before everybody and memorize that campus, right? And luckily, I mean, my parents came. They stayed with my other two kids. My other two kids were just cheering us on, and they were excited for us and all, and FaceTiming us and everything. But if Michael didn't have his blindness, we would have gone just like everybody else. We probably would have taken a plane, maybe, you know, and gotten stuff down there or shipped it. I would have spent 2 days with them, is my point. I got 5 days.
Yes.
Just me and him, stuffed in a car, driving down, taking our good old time, getting to know that campus. But it's been like that his whole life. I knew everyone in the preschool. I knew everyone in the elementary school. I was the like world-class homeroom mom. I wanted everybody to love me so they'd love him, right? I won every contest. I was crazy, right? I mean, I have known everyone. We bring his friends here because it's hard for him to navigate all these other houses. So I turned my basement into the rock zone where they all do their music and everything. I mean, I have had to be by their sides their whole lives. So I've gotten to know everything that they're into, and they talk to me. And I mean, Michael was still FaceTiming me from campus today to work his microwave and then joking about some stuff that was going on campus. Like, it's just a different, I mean, it's a close-knit relationship that some people, they get a little jealous of. But hey, you want to be jealous of me, a mom with 3 kids? It's a circus over here. Go for it. We have a good darn time here. And it's made us really, really tight. You know, and I don't know that I would have that if my kids didn't need me so much. I don't know that our relationship, and with my sighted daughter, it's the same thing. I mean, she knows all the boys' friends. She's a year behind my second son. She knows all their friends, and they all hang out. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say this. I think that, man, it is truly amazing what you ladies do. You know, I think that it's awesome. What you do. I think you're making a tremendous impact, not just in your homes and with your families, but the way you fight for, you know, the cause, you know, and I know, because I know you, you know, but the way you fight for your cause, I think is awesome. And, you know, the things that you're doing will leave legacies, you know, not just in your home, but like it will leave legacies. And so it's super encouraging. And I know, just like I said at the beginning, you know, some may see it as, man, that's tough, you know, but the good thing that I see in you ladies is that you're positive, and both of y'all have said this a number of times in the interview, find the good, you know, you found the good, find the positive in it, and you've done that. And so any advice or encouragement that you have, you know, because there's lots of parents that go through, you know, similar things that you have gone through. And we can start with you, Monica, any advice that you may have.
I would have to say that probably the hardest thing for me is the fear of the unknown. Is you just don't know the future. And that's, you know, of course that makes anyone insecure, but I think once I started getting over the fear and really educating myself, and then also reaching out to other people like Kristin,
communities
and
families.
Yeah, you build a community of support. And so I think if you let go of the fear and you find the glimmer of hope and you hang on to that hope, because I believe in miracles. And I believe that even if we don't get the results we want in the end, if you look back, for me, looking back over the last, I guess 6 years since I've been in the, kind of tossed into this community, I don't want to know anything different anymore. I love the community that I have, because they're supportive, and there's a gratification, a self-gratification that comes when you are building something that is going to impact people that come behind you. I think the biggest thing for me was realizing, when somebody told me, "Oh, you're a pioneer," and I'm like, "Hold on, wait, I'm not a pioneer. What do you mean?" But it's true. You're a pioneer, and pioneers blaze the trail for those that come behind us. And I say that if you are a parent or a family member, either with a rare disease or your loved one has a rare disease that is unknown, don't be scared to build it. And I did. I saw that movie. I can't even remember, with Kevin Costner.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
I watched that movie. I guess around the time Beckett was diagnosed, and I know this sounds really cliche, but that stuck in my head. Build it and they will come.
Yes.
Build it and they will come. And they came. And so looking back, I don't regret quitting my job. I don't regret the hard times, because it really shaped me into the person I am now. Because I am not the person I was 20 years ago. Not at all.
Yeah.
So
I think before you go, Kristin, I think one thing too is, and I was talking to somebody about this just today. It's funny that you said it. I think while going through things, reps make you better. As you go through them more, it's going to be tough. But as you go through it more, it's like, hey, okay, that happened. Let's move on. About time 20, that's something. Oh, okay. All right. Next, let's go.
Yeah.
And so I think, when you have that positive mindset, like we said, and the things, once you have that realization that, hey, I'm just going to find a good and we're going to move on. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what about you, Kristin?
So I would say to anyone, you face a diagnosis or you have any challenge in your life. I mean, I've been through this never-ending divorce for 2 years, and I use the same philosophy as when my kids were diagnosed. I think that, you got to take it in. I sat on the couch for too long, but you do got to sit on the couch and take it in, right? You feel that moment, and you feel the punch to the gut, and you take all that in. But then, and I say this with all the love in the world because I've been there, you got to get the hell up. You got to get up. And you got to go do something about it, because the longer you piss and moan about it, it's not making any difference. And especially if your children are involved, it's not making any difference for them. So I would echo what one of the things Monica said about reach out and find people. There has got to be, with social media and the way that the world is now in communication, there has to be somebody out there that has either walked 1 step ahead of you, 10 steps ahead of you, 20 steps ahead of you. Reach out. That's who we are now for the people. We didn't have this years ago. So that's my thing now, is these moms call me with their blindness diagnosis, or they're getting divorced also. I did the same thing when I was getting divorced. I reached out to people that did it right. They were on the other side. Well, I wasn't reaching out to the ones that were the other side at the bar every night. That wasn't going to work for me. The ones that were productive, that's who I was calling, right? But anyway, so reach out to people that are in that community, and also, like Monica said, and if no one is, then do it yourself, and reach out to those of us that are. It might not be your same community, but we can certainly give you some guidance. But you've got to, there's that fear comes when you're not doing anything. You got to turn it into action and do something, even if it's one thing one day, where you're going to research that disease, or that situation on Google, and you're going to take in all that information. Get educated on it, and then start making a plan and put people on your team that can help. You got to build a team of positive people. I mean positive people in the way that you don't want toxic, of course, but there has to be some people on your team that are going to say, you're a nut with what you're planning right now. Reel it in. And then there also has to be people that are just going to cheer. I know with my 4 chicks, I can call Mary Fran that's going to kick my ass on a phone call and say, shut up. You're feeling sorry for yourself. Let's go. And I can call Marcino and she'll go, you're the greatest. You're just the greatest. I love everything you do. You know what I mean? I've got a team of folks and I can call Monica and go, what the hell's with the government? I can't take this anymore. And she'll go, oh, sister, don't worry about it. We'll fight them later. Let's fix this today.
You let me take care of that.
I tend to swear like a truck driver here in Philly when I get really worked up. No.
I'm like, hey.
I need a buzzer. Anywho, back to center.
Right. There
As you can see, she
Well,
is pretty passionate about what she does.
It's all in love. It's all in love.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's all about a balance, and you got to find that balance, and the people around you. You're gonna have those bad days and those good days, but you just got to keep going. I don't know how many times I've called Kristin or any of my other rare peeps going, I want to quit, but no one.
We're like this. I can't take it anymore. We get all these texts.
Exactly. So it's awesome. But we have a great time. I think it's a camaraderie within this realm, and I love my group of my rare peeps. Because they even though we all have we're dealing with different symptoms of different diseases, all the feelings, all the emotions, all the ups, all the downs, all feel the same because we're all human.
That's it.
And so it's finding those people to lean on.
Well, if you don't mind, we can start with you first, Kristin. Tell the viewers where they can find you and support you, and I know that and follow you, because I know there's, like I said, there's people that are possibly going through the similar things. They need to be able to see and reach out. How can they do that?
Yeah, so my biggest platforms right now are Facebook. Thriving Blind is my community about raising blind kids well. Some days they're my epic fails I do put in there. And Curing Retinal Blindness Foundation has a Facebook page as well. Both of those are public. And then I'm heavily on LinkedIn now. I just discovered that as a phenomenal resource for the scientific and professional community. And then CRB1, the number 1.org is our website, and KristinSmedley.com is where all of my stuff is. And my book that's coming out will be there and all of that.
There it is. What about you, Monica?
Of course, I am on pretty much all social media.
Oh, Monica, all the time.
All the time. Yeah, I use it. It's free.
There you go.
Platform. But I'm on LinkedIn as well, and I do have Twitter. It's ML Weldon 5. Our organization is called syngap @syngap on Twitter. We have a Bridge the Gap syngap Facebook page. And I also have a Monica Weldon Facebook page where I, talk about, my speaking engagements, kind of my philosophy on strategy and building things. That's what I love to talk about. And then Instagram, we have both the Bridge the Gap syngap Instagram. And then I also have a Monica Weldon official open page on Instagram as well, and our website for our organization is called bridgesyngap.org, and you can find out more about our disorder there. And you just type in my name, Monica Weldon, or syngap 1, and I will pop up somewhere in there. I guess because I've posted quite a bit. For sure.
Well, again, thank you so much, ladies, for taking the time to talk with me about your story, and working with your family and fighting for your cause. I think is very inspiring, how you do what you do, on a daily basis. And so I just want to encourage you, to continue to do that, because man, there's lots of people watching and that think it's amazing. So
Well, thank you, Chip. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I love you to death, and I can't wait to read your book.
All right, that's it. Check it. It's coming out soon.
I
Good
know.
stuff.
I'm going to check it out. I'm excited.
Well, thank you guys for checking out this topic session of the Success Chronicles. We'll see you next time. God bless.